Newcastle, Newcastle United FC.
Newcastle don't invest money these days.
Yeah.
Touchdown against Southampton the way we've been lately. Do you think the takeover will happen?
I don't know. I was sceptical about the takeover from the minute it became public, because as much as anything, we know to a degree, we know the animal we've got. We know we've got a fella who, rightly or wrongly, bought a football club and decided to conduct it as a business, and decided that he wasn't interested in the football side of things. Initially he might have had a few pints in Blue Bamboo or whatever, but basically he runs the place as he would run Sports Direct, right? So that's what you've got. We knew what we had with him. I was just really worried about how the Mandy t-shirts and the Mandy's, just the whole business about we've suddenly discovered somebody who wants best for New. Why? It always crossed my mind. Why do we think, or why would we think, she wants the best for Newcastle United? Mm-hmm. We don't know who she's representing.
Exactly, that's what I was just about to say.
It could be Arab money, it could be Chinese money, it could be anybody's money. Mm-hmm. We've no idea.
And you've seen it go wrong.
Exactly.
You've seen it at Cardiff City with their Vincent Tan.
Absolutely. Do people honestly think that she took it upon herself to be some sort of Joan of Arc character who wanted to come in and rescue this once great football club? It's bollocks. Absolute bollocks. At the end of the day, she is no. I posted on Facebook a statement that said they're both opportunists. One wants to get his money back, and one wants to try and make a deal that gets the football club on the cheap. But they're both opportunists. Neither of them, to my way of thinking, this is a purely personal statement, neither of them gives a flying fuck about Newcastle United. So where are you?
I think it's
now. I know she's done an interview with the Times, and I saw the interview she did with George Colkin, and she talked about being from Yorkshire and having an affinity to Newcastle. But I'm sorry, and I said at the time they were quibbling, and they're still quibbling allegedly over £50 million.
Yeah, that's what worried me, because we would want that money injected in the team straight away. So they haven't got that there up the bid.
But £50 million doesn't buy you a fullback these days. It buys you Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
So you're worrying about buying Newcastle United football.
How much
club.
will he actually bring into the team?
Exactly.
I think fans are just kind of getting you worse. Actually,
no,
it can't really after relegations and no money.
But you see, I hate to say it, but I don't think he's any worse than she is. I don't think he's any worse than the kid at Cardiff. Would you rather be bought by the guy at Cardiff who then changes you strip to red and white stripes?
He hasn't done that yet, or the crest or anything. He tried the stadium name,
but there are so many of them.
Yeah,
they don't. Honestly, as businessmen, regardless of whether they buy X, Y, or Z, they don't care about the football.
Because it's not like the old days where you had local people like.
Absolutely, Jack Walker at Blackburn. Talk to Shearer about Jack Walker. And when I first came here, while people, the craziest thing in the world is that Freddie Shepherd, God bless his soul, only got recognition when he died.
Yeah.
That man loved this football club. Sir John Hall loves this football club. Freddie Fletcher loved this football club. Mm-hmm. Those people who were vilified at the time, or whatever, not vilified, but they were derided at the time.
Goes back to be careful what you wish for, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Because what would we do now for a local businessman like Shepherd to be in charge?
100%.
At least buying players.
100%.
I said Bobby was my favourite manager of my team. Yeah, you had to pick one. Who would it be?
Not even a penny thought. Keegan. Greatest man.
Was he as good as we think he is?
Oh, hey, believe me. When you wear your heart on your sleeve, like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and when you care about something, and you know when you look in somebody's eyes that they care about it as well.
Genuine.
Unbelievable. Famous story, a mate of mine, I used to drink in a pub down by the quayside, and a little kiddie fell out of a tree, broke all his bones all the way down, was in a wheelchair, and he said the kid's in a right bad state, and he said you couldn't do something. And I went to, the next time we were at Maiden Castle, the Durham University training ground where they used to train, and I said to Kevin one day, I said, look, this little kiddie's fallen out of a tree, he's broken every bone in his body, bring him down. And the following Tuesday, I think it was, that his mum and dad, who I knew, brought him down. He was in a wheelchair, and Kevin and Terry Mack pushed the mother and father to one side and went, come on, we're going training. And I just remember watching them pushing the little lad out to training, and all the players were there, and they pushed this little lad out, and he was like the most important person in the world that day. You know, they were just unbelievable people. It was just the greatest shame in the world was that we couldn't get over the line.
I didn't want to bring it up, but I was about to.
Yeah. Well, in fact, I put a thing on Facebook this week saying, with the picture of him slumped over the hoardings at Liverpool, and just said,
every time we play Liverpool, they play that
I just said that the worst game I wish I'd never seen.
Yeah,
it's just horrendous.
Why or how? We had to highlight something. Do you think we blew that 12-point lead at Christmas?
No, I mean
culmination of things.
Well, the Asprilla thing is shite. It basically, I mean, as somebody who's been involved in sport for a long time, and I think probably most people in sport will tell you, is that you can be the greatest team in the world and you can be the greatest individual in the world, but if you can't cope with, or you haven't been able to get over the finishing line, it's the psychological thing. It's not the physical thing. You can be like I said, you can be the best sportsman, you can be the best team, you can be the best whatever. But when it gets to the real, it's like when we were here, the game against Man United, and Ferdinand missed all those chances, and Schmeichel saved all those chances, and then Cantona scored the goal. They went away that night from here, Man United, and they went, They can't do it. They can't do it. They can't do it. And it was genuine. I knew they couldn't do it. If we got a draw that night against Man United, we'd have won the title. But they went away thinking
their tails up and everyone's down for us. And
they can't do it. They can't do it. Yeah.
It's a crying shame because that's as close as we've got. Well, two FA Cup finals as well in the late 90s.
Yeah. The second one I thought we'd definitely win.
Do you think that's psychological again, or a bit bad luck? Again with missed chances.
No. It is. It's like I don't believe the shit about the weight of expectation and people or blah 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 blah. But there is an element of it. There is an element of it that you sort of. It's all well and good being who's won the FA Cup since Wigan have won it, blah blah won it, They had no expectation, We get within like 3 games of the FA Cup final, and people start weeping in the streets.
Bringing days off for the two of us.
I mean, what can you do? And there's nothing wrong with that. But it does. You talk to the players, and they are shit scared of failing. They are, because, and for all the right reasons, they are scared of letting people down who shouldn't be let down, because they are so aware of how much these people deserve to be, rewarded for just for their loyalty,
I guess Shea touched upon it when he was here, and he said we got beat and we still got cheered when we came home and everything. He was saying, like, imagine what it would have been like if we actually had lifted the trophy.
Well, I don't know if it was Shea. I mean, there's plenty of them. They all said the same. I mean, the open-top bus. What are we doing on an open-top bus?
When you've been beat out, no.
You know, they didn't like it. And yet the fans loved it, you know. But it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't happen, you know.
It's hard because you've seen so many players come and go here at St James's Park. If you had to pick one as your favourite player in 25 years at your club,
favourite player,
does it start with an S and N and an R?
Yeah, without a doubt. But I always say to people, you know, if you want to talk about the superstar player, and there's been, you see, this is the difference. There are superstar players, and we've had plenty of superstar players, you know. And I'm not talking about people we've paid money for, like, you know, Ginola or Aspria or Woodgate or Shea to a degree, although we didn't pay money for him, much money. And then there's Beardsley, who you don't pay money for. But I always say, obviously, Alan, just because you can't get away from what Shearer did week in, week out, you know?
Carrying the club beyond expectations for so many years.
Absolutely carried the club. Absolutely never deviated from being the guy who wanted to score goals. You know, never deviated away from wanting the best for this football club. And you look at the modern day charlatans and the shysters who just don't give a fuck. I mean, that's why every time I see him on Match of the Day, and I talk to him privately sometimes, he talks about Harry Kane. I can see why he likes Harry Kane. Harry Kane's exactly the same human being. He's a kid who, you know, he just loves football, and he's very good at what he does. So I always say to people, you know, it's stupid to say, "Oh, who's your favourite?" Well, of course he's my favourite because he made me as a commentator. But then, who are the other ones? And the other one, and this might not be weird, but I really got knocked the way this kid was treated. But Aaron Hughes was my other one.
All right,
because he just did a fantastic job for Newcastle. He played at left back, he played at right back. He marked. I remember we went to Rome one year and he marked Totti man to man in Europe. And
bit of an unsung hero, wasn't he?
Yeah, but if it wasn't Aaron Hughes, it would be, I don't know who it would be. Stephen Taylor gets a lot of shit, but Stephen Taylor was like, you know, like he's a good foot. You know, people. And the thing that makes me laugh is people say, "Oh, it's fucking shit." How good were you? You know, you're sitting in your seat. Were you as good as Stephen Taylor? You know, Peter Ramage, people like this. I mean, the local boys. That's where I sort of really sort of like when football got daft, and we were signing subservient, you know, European players, and we're still doing it now.
Yeah,
you know.
Better than local lads.
Absolutely. The problem with the transfer market, not so much now, but it was probably worse about 5 or 6 years ago, was not that they were signing foreign players, but they were just signing foreign players because they were cheaper. The calibre of the players, yeah. They were cheaper, but they were absolutely nowhere near the likes of Peter Ramage, Stephen Taylor. You know,
Dummett at the minute's doing a good job. Just came out from injury.
Paul Dummett is a top player. You know, in what he does. He's not going to be the greatest player in the world. You know, let's not kid ourselves. He's not. Of course he's not. You know, but would you rather have Paul Dummett than, I don't know, X, Y, or Z? Definitely. You know. So, yeah. But, yeah, going back to what you said, yeah, Shearer was number one.
Shearer has to be number one.
Yeah, number one.
What's your most memorable moment? Whether it be here at St James's Park or was it a European night? You had to try and pick one or two? Or?
I hate to say it, but for all the wrong reasons, Colin Moore's goal at Anfield.
No.
Yeah. I tell you the good one. There was a real good one. Was Ketspaya's goal in Zagreb.
Yeah,
that was monstrous. Yeah, that was because it was late in the game, and we were it was a horrible place. With all due respect to our Serbian
it was
friends,
a shithole.
Well, it wasn't much a shithole, but it was really aggressive, And we were sat in this press box. People were sort of launching themselves and spitting at us.
Yeah, really?
And yeah. Because it was, that's what
That's their culture, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's fair enough. Yeah, it's like they want. I don't know, fair enough.
You're the enemy.
Yeah, but you are. And I remember Ian Dennis, who now works for Five Live. I remember he went out to the toilet and he came back and he was nearly crying. He said this guy had assaulted him in the toilet. We you had to stay there. And then Ketspire scored in the last whatever minute it was. But no, it was great. It was great. Yeah. But there's so many.
I could tell you for the full weekend, couldn't I, talking about it?
Oh yeah.
But what's the why, or what was the moment where Newcastle fans have made the loudest noise for you? Was it a goal? Was it when Shearer came out here, or when Keegan came back? Or, the best atmosphere where you thought, wow, like.
I think probably the Man U, the 5-0. The 5-0. I don't know why, but when the stadium got redeveloped, it was all well and good, but the noise wasn't kept in like it used to get kept in the 90s, but. No, it was maybe the 5-0. I don't know. It's just too many. Really, there are too many.
Right, I'll do a couple of questions here. There's just two of them,
right.
2 or 3 of them that people sent in from Twitter.
All right, okay.
So MJ Rock 72 asks, how do you keep up with play so well? You were the best radio commentator ever, not just NUFC.
I don't know. You just do your job, don't you? You just.
He's saying you were the best at it, though.
It's very kind of him. It's just.
Was it just natural to you and just came
Well, I think you have to know. You have to know football. I think you have to have played it to a decent level. I mean, none of us were professional. Yeah.
Geordie 55 asks, what was the funniest and most difficult name to pronounce?
Ando's worst one was Ali Adair. Remember him?
Jeremy Adair for Arsenal.
Jeremy Ali Adair. He was Ali. He couldn't do it to save his fucking life. He was like Ali. I said Ali Adair, and I used to write it down for him. Ali
in
Adair
box.
Because that's what as a commentator that's what you had to do.
Aye.
And I also remember as well. I don't know why it was, but we went through a phase where all the European games back in the day, and this is why we're such a great club. I mean, there's a one down the road would love to have half a dozen European games. We've had 100 European games, but I don't know why. But the goalkeepers always used to have fantastic names, and one of the good ones was we played Basel a couple of times, I think. Zubabula was the goalkeeper, but there were other goalkeepers as well that all had fantastic names that fitted phonetically. So there was a bit there, a bit there. But Zubabula was one of them. But it always seemed to be the goalkeepers rather than anybody else.
We know Bobby had a few problems with pronunciations of his players, or more likely getting names mixed up. Really, honest.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anything like that for Newcastle wise, or?
No, not really. But the weirdest thing with Bobby was there was what was it? What was the phrase? There was a phrase. We sat down with Bobby one day, and there was a guy called Damien Spellman from the PA. Oh, what was the saying? The saying was he just mentioned a word, and Bobby said, "What's that word? What's that? I don't." And he just couldn't get it. And he just everybody kept saying it, and he said, "No, I don't get it," and eventually he had to get it, But it was great.
Right, the last one is at Taylor90 asks your greatest memory of Newcastle.
Well, I genuinely wouldn't want to say what my genuine best memory was.
No.
I would hope my best memory is still to come. It sounds awful, but the reason I haven't got the greatest memory is because there's not been anything to celebrate, has it? Do you know what I mean? It's they're just. I remember nearly crying at that Liverpool 4-3 game, and then a couple of the Wembley games, thinking this is just awful,
Brian Robson said the way you described some of the special goals scored was a delight to listen to.
Okay.
You're well missed.
Okay.
How was life after commentary?
Life after commentary is a bit like life before commentary. It's like the thing with me was I never trained, or I never sort of set my stall out to do it, and I never really sort of consciously did it. You just, there's your job, So I don't know. I was just lucky to be
doing something you love.
Well, I mean, I didn't even know I'd love it, to be honest with you, when I started. But what I was lucky, and I was really, really lucky, was that I made the decision in 1991 to leave London, and I could have stayed in London. And I mean, I'd done the 1990 World Cup finals with Bobby Moore. I was working with huge names in London, but I was number 2 to Jonathan Pearce. And I wanted to be my own man, and because my own man was from County Durham, and I knew the North East, and I knew what football meant to them. I went, right, okay, I'm leaving London. I'm going to the BBC, advertised for a sports editor, and I came up, and and it's luck. There's so much. Honestly, there is so much luck involved in life.
Yeah.
Right.
But
I said at the time when I left a year ago. Honestly, I came here in 1991. St James's Park was a shithole. Roker Park was fucking awful. Both clubs were in the doldrums. Now, whatever Sunderland did. But what Newcastle did in a very short space of time was resurrect themselves, courtesy of Sir John Hall and most importantly Kevin Keegan. And I was so lucky that I was here. And I said it at the time, Keegan from 92 to 96 was unbelievable, and then he brought the main fella in. So I had that. I mean, who could predict that? No one could predict that. I couldn't predict that, I could have come here in 1991 as I did, and as I said at the time, I could have left in 93, 94 and gone back to London.
Because Newcastle just stayed lingering down there again.
I had no great affinity, but I wanted to.
You got the bug.
I wanted to further myself as a commentator, but by that time, I wanted to further myself as a commentator with Newcastle United.
Because I was blessed,
absolutely blessed. I mean, anyone in football, anyone in journalism would want to be working with Kevin Keegan and Alan Shearer. Fucking hell! If you're I don't know what it is. If you're a chef, who do you want to work with? You're like whoever, Jamie Oliver, or the guy from the pub. I don't know. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's given me everything that, and that's why I'll never forget it, and that's why I come back, and that's why if anyone ever, at the minute I'm volunteering for the Red Cross in the Midlands, and I work in a shop, and I'm just volunteering because I want to give something back. But every time I'm in the shop, and somebody comes in with a Northeast accent, I go, "Where are you from?" and they go, Anik. I went, yeah, I knew you were. How do you know that? You know, I'm like, just fucking brilliant.
That's great. That like,
Yeah.
your speech here was incredible. Like that you done last year when you were leaving. You know, the video I shared yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, it really touched a lot of people. And I've got
Well,
words written.
I put that on Facebook this week. You know, just the
you are the club, the fans of the club. And that's,
yeah, but they are.
That's what's most important right now. Like you say, coming into this weekend.
Hey, without a shadow of a doubt.
Right then, Mick. It's been a pleasure having you on. Really appreciate your time.
No, it's been good.
Absolute legend of the club. The voice of Newcastle United over 25 years. Mick Lowes.
Okay, thank you.